Okay, this is a video, electrical video about some meter enclosure and some service entrance cable and some feeders. So let's get into it. This is a meter enclosure that we put up. It's a 2-gang meter enclosure. One of them is for, and the disconnects are built in. So it's a meter main disconnect. So there's 2 meter sockets that will be here. The first floor, or the main unit, is a 200 amp breaker, and the other one is a 100 amp breaker. All right, so these breakers, the wires that go to the breaker, are based on the breaker itself. So like a 100 amp breaker, we used number 2 aluminum. Aluminum is okay to use as long as you apply the right antioxidant. Aluminum has a tendency to oxidize, so you gotta apply like this antioxidant, which I always put on. I always put it on all my aluminum connections. The top meter socket is the 200 amp, and we used 4/0 type of wire for the 200 amp main breaker. Here's the grounding and neutral grids of the meter enclosure. If you look, all the neutrals and grounds, they all connect to the same grid. There's your neutral and ground grid right there. So it all connects to the same grid, your neutral and ground for your 200 amp, and then you got your neutral and ground for your 100 amp circuit. And again, you also have a ground wire here that goes to your water main, and then you have a ground wire here that goes to your ground rods. Both of them are considered grounding electrode conductors. The size of the grounding electrode conductor, that's these two, the green ones. These are your grounding electrode conductors. That's a number 2, and this is a number 4. So the size of your grounding electrode conductors, those green ones, those size of those are directly based on the size of your feeders right here. Here's your feeders of the whole enclosure. These are 350s, 350 KC mil, pretty big size conductor. And these conductors are based on the load of the building itself. Of course, you got 2 panels, a 200 amp panel and a 100 amp panel, and they're all being fed from these main feeders here, with the 350s. So the size of your grounding electrode conductors, which is right here, and this green one here, is based on the size of those 350s up there. All right, so if you want to size a grounding electrode conductor for 350s, it would be a number 2. So here's your number 2, and this goes back to our water main. So that's one way of getting a ground for this enclosure, is through your water main. The other way of grounding this enclosure is through your ground rods. Here, this goes to your ground rods. Even though a number 2 is required, if you're going to ground rods, you don't have to go to a number 2. The conductor that goes to the ground rods, the maximum size you have to run minimum is a number 6. So you don't have to run a number 2 when you're going to ground rods. I ran a number 4, but yeah, I could have ran a number 6 if I wanted to. But if you're going to something else other than a ground rod, like you're going to your water main, it has to be a number 2. It has to be number 2 because of the size of these feeders. These feeders actually go to a service mast. If you look up, you can see the service mast. We need to go above the roof to maintain the height requirement above grade for your conductors from the street. So you have to have at least 12 feet off grade, and we needed to put that service mast there in order to maintain the minimum distance. We'll have more on this in the next video. Thank you so much.